Your babyhood wasn't the normal one. You were encased in plaster. It was incredibly traumatic for you, actually, at times. I've never forgotten crying and crying with you. You couldn't go to sleep after you had the first encasement. You would wake up like this and scream and scream. For a whole day and night, you never slept. Every time you started falling off, you jerked awake and you started to scream again. It must have been terrible to wake up and suddenly find yourself encased in concrete from under your arms to your ankles, you know. Eventually, we were both of us crying very hard, and I couldn't bear it anymore, so I took some big cushions and blankets out onto the lawn under a tree, and I lay down with you on top of me, and we both cried ourselves to sleep. And that was the first time you slept, after being put in plaster. And one thing you missed, when you were tiny, from the time you could crawl, I always used to switch on the midday concert. And you loved this. You'd line yourself up in front of the speaker, radio speaker, and you'd bounce, you'd rock backwards and forwards, sort of on all fours, rocking backwards and forwards. And I used to watch, because you'd get the tempo very well. And then suddenly there'd be a slight break and a change of movement. And you'd stop, and you'd try, and then gradually you got into the slow movement or change back into the fast movement. But there you were, you knew the timing, like when a little animal knows its din-din times. You would come, I would turn on the music, and you'd come crawling down the passage, solemnly seat yourself in front of the speaker and start rocking until the very end. You weren't going to be deprived of this. It was a serious thing. And then the terrible plaster.